Okay, here's what we're gonna do today. We talked about a short time before we turned the camera on. So, what we're gonna do today is talk about summarizing, okay? We've been working a lot with the civil rights and everything like that, and, how it relates to our unit with the Negro Leagues and everything. So, today what we're gonna do is we're gonna read an article and summarize that article, okay? So, nothing really new on what we've done here, but can anybody tell me what a summary is? What's that?
Where we have to go back and read what we read, we have to go back and say what we learned, kind of most important.
Most important part of the story? What do you think it is, Ryan?
I think it is you go back and read it, and then you put it in your own words.
Put in your own words. Yeah. Hey, well, the thing is you are putting it in your own words, but the important part is to take your opinion out of it. When you summarize, you're stating key facts. Does that make sense? So it's not like when I read about Jesse being harassed back in the day. I could be talking about Jesse Jackson, doesn't have to be about Jesse. But no, when I read about Jesse being harassed by a white person, I felt this way about it. That would not be a summary. When we're summarizing, we say
Facts.
just the facts. Stick to the facts. So we're keeping our opinion out of it. Our opinions are good, and we do write a lot on opinion in this class, but today what we're focusing on is the facts. Okay? So when we talk about our facts here, what we're going to do today is an activity called Sum It Up. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to read this together. We're going to read this article called The Law That Changed America, and we're going to read it, and we're going to take it and define key words from it. So while you're reading, think about things that are important from the story. So you're going to take those things, we're going to translate it up to the board in just a few key words. We're going to try and get 10 or more key words, and then what we're going to do is we're going to write our summary including those key words. Okay? So right now I'd like to go ahead and start to read it. Okay, I'll start us off, and then I'll have you guys read a little bit of it, and we'll get through it together. All right, the law that changed America. Okay, 50 years ago this summer, bless you, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed discrimination. Okay, the East Room of the White House was buzzing with excitement on July 2nd, 1964. Some of the nation's most important civil rights leaders, including Martin Luther King Jr., gathered around President Lyndon B. Johnson as he signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The law legally ended segregation in public education, employment, and at public facilities. It was the most far-reaching civil rights legislation since Reconstruction, when the blacks were granted citizenship and the right to vote. But by the 1960s, nearly 100 years had passed, and segregation continued to be a way of life in parts of the United States, particularly in the South. Go ahead. We're at all done. You should follow along. Just that paragraph. So then the next page in segregated schools. Jesse?
Although President Johnson has made passage of Civil Rights Act of Championing Promise in 1960, he was
Initially reluctant
to push for a bill in Congress in 1963. Rights only signs still hung above water fountains and at entrance of public junctions, public parks, hospitals, and libraries. And despite the
Supreme.
supreme and 1954 grounds, the board of education ruling, which said segregated public schools were
Unconstitutional.
Make black and white children continue attended elementary school.
Yeah. By the spring of 1963, the civil rights movement was gaining momentum. In May, graphic images of violence against peaceful black protesters in Birmingham, Alabama, shocked the country. On June 11th, Alabama Governor George Wallace, an avid segregationist, tried to prevent 2 black students from registering for classes at the University of Alabama by blocking a school doorway. Wallace's stand in the schoolhouse door and mounting racial tensions pushed President Kennedy to act. Isaiah, you want to go ahead and read?
That night he addressed the nation. Is that it?
Yep.
Nation for the
From.
Oval Office, urging Congress to enact
Legislation. Sorry, it's technical.
legislation giving all Americans the right to be served in faculty
Facility.
facilities which are open to public hotel, restaurants, retail stores, and similar establishments.
When they say the Oval Office, guys, it's the office inside the White House where the president's office is, shaped like an oval. Really beautiful office and just really cool. All right, the next chapter. In the days after Kennedy's death, his successor, President Johnson, urged Congress to enact civil rights legislation in honor of the fallen president. No memorial or oration or eulogy could more eloquently honor President Kennedy's memory than the earliest possible passage of the Civil Rights Bill for which he fought so long. Johnson said, "We have talked long enough in this country about equal rights. It's time to now write the next chapter and to write it in the books of law." Getting the bill passed wasn't easy. In 1964, Congress was controlled by Southern Democrats, many of whom opposed civil rights. But after fierce debate, Johnson eventually got the bill through Congress. Jesse, you want to read another paragraph?
One thing that Act
Prohibits.
racial discrimination and public places and
Institutions, which would be like schools and different places like that.
It says restaurants.
Oh, okay, thank you, yeah.
It says restaurants, hotels, schools, and hospitals. It also outlaws. It also outlaws job discrimination based on race, region, sexual, or national origin.
Good. Isaiah, you want to read that paragraph and then I'll take us on out?
Some Americans, including Governor Wallace, fiercely opposed any federal civil rights laws. On July 4th, 1964, Wallace gave a fiercely speech against the act.
Okay. The law didn't eliminate discrimination, but it paved the way for further progress. In 1965, Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act, which outlawed poll taxes, literary literacy tests, and other obstacles to black voter registration. 3 years later, he signed the Fair Housing Act, which prohibits discrimination in housing. Terrence McWilliams knows firsthand the importance of the Civil Rights Act. In the 1960s, he was one of the first African Americans to attend an integrated school in Florida. The Civil Rights Act has benefited all races, he says, but we still have much more to do in the next 50 years. Okay? So good. Okay. So when we look at summarizing this article, we have to look at key words that come with it. Okay? So what we're going to do together is find some of the key words from this article, and then what I'm going to have you guys do is summarize the article on your own. Okay? So, what are some, first of all, let's start off, let's try and categorize it a little bit. What are some of the key people that we talk about in this article? Isaiah? John F. Kennedy, he's in there. We'll put JFK. Okay, good. Elijah? Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Jr. Did I hear you back there? Okay.
The president after Kennedy, President Johnson.
Lyndon B. Johnson. Johnson, good.
Ooh.
Who else? Who was opposing the act?
George Wallace.
What's his name? Not George Wallace. It was Governor
Oh,
Wallace.
I was saying the.
Oh yeah, I think it might be actually George Wallace. I'm sorry.
It is.
Yeah. Governor George Wallace. I apologize. This just didn't sound right for some reason. All right. We'll just put Governor Wallace though. Governor Wallace. He was opposed to the bill. Okay. That's good. That's a good start. Okay. So we'll put people above there. All right. Good. All right. What about let's talk about what's the article about? What are some other keywords in this article?
Racial.
Racial. Okay, good. So we're gonna talk about, we'll just put race. Okay, good. What else? Okay.
Discrimination.
Discrimination. Okay. It's a big word. All right, what else? Elijah.
Segregation.
Segregation.
A lot of Asians.
Yeah. Segregation. What else? I'll put one up there. The Civil Rights Act of 1964. Civil Rights Act of 1964. That was a big one. Okay, Jesse.
Religion.
Religion. What else goes with religion up there that you read, Jesse?
National.
Yeah. Religion, sex, national origin. And I hope you guys know too that it's not, when we talk about sex, we're talking about our
Like,
male or female
Yeah.
gender, okay? Okay.
The Fair Housing Act of.
Ooh, the Fair Housing Act, yes, let me look at the year on that, good job. We have the Voting Rights Act as well. Alright. Let's get to it up here.
What's a Congress?
Congress is, the body of, lawmakers who come together and meet, so the people you see on TV.
So that's not one.
Yeah, Congress is, yeah, we do talk about Congress,
It
yeah, that's a
doesn't
big
say
one.
when it was made, but I'm thinking like 1965.
Yeah. Voting Rights Act, Fair Housing Act. Good. Good. Congress is a good catch. Hey, is there anything else in here, guys? I mean, how many words have we got so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we're over our 10. Okay.
I'm gonna take my test today.
Go take your test. We'll hold off on that for the time being, real quick. Because we still gotta. Would you mind filling out one of those forms real quick for me? Because it's the every day, every time you come up here, that's what you gotta fill out.
Supreme Court.
Supreme Court.
Oval Office.
Washington,
Oval
D.C.
The Supreme Court has apostrophe S, apostrophe S, and 1954 backward.
I was gonna put Supreme Court, Oval Office. Okay, good. Hey, the reason we do this, guys, the reason we chart out things is so that it's easy to write a summary. It's really important because what you can do now is you can take things and find what goes together. You can group these words, okay? So when you go to write your first sentence, what's this article about? You can open up talking about the Civil Rights Act of 1964, okay? Who was somebody who was really trying to push that, according to our article?
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King was a big part of it, because everyone has signed.
JFK.
JFK. Alright, so what you can do here from these key words is start your summary and write your summary, including a lot of these key words. You don't have to include every single one of them, but you can include a lot of them in with your summary. Okay? So what I want you guys to do on your own is write your heading down your paper first. And then, so open to a new page in your notebooks. And then what I want you guys to do is take this information, take these key words, and write your own summary in your notebooks. It only has to be a paragraph, which is about 5 to 7 sentences. I would like you guys to write your own summary. 5 to 7 sentences. I'm not making you do a half page or a long page, so there you go.
Hey, you got you. Not yet, please, please.
If I was Josh, I'm Jeff from Kansas. Boom, baby. That works out. Jeff from Kansas. I go by JFK now. That works.
I want to call you JFK next hour and see what people we are.
Yeah.
What does that mean, you know, Jeff?
What's up, JFK?
What up, JFK?
If there was a JFS, I could say Jake from State Farm.
That's true.
So close.
You know, I'm gonna switch some stuff around for you guys and just put people. Congress would be under people probably. Go ahead and get to work, guys. Make sure you're not talking. Congress will go under people. I'll put the Supreme Court under here. Oval Office. Okay, so laws.
My heading.
Sum it up. What's the title? understand that if you do get to go back, which I'm not guaranteeing what you do, if you got to go back, the next time you will be sent up here, it'll be an officer class.
Yeah.
I'm just checking, just making sure.
There's no reason why I should stay up here, because I don't really have to say pledge allegiance. So, like that thing.
You know what I'm saying, according to that, yeah, man, what she's
You
getting
can't
on,
get mad if I don't say pledge allegiance.
yeah, what she's getting on more is, I believe you're accusing of a couple of different things, I don't think it was just the pledge at that point.
What was I confusing to do?
I think you were upset about your AR point something out,
No.
right?
No, I wasn't upset about that.
What
I
were you
was pretty
upset
frustrated about that, but I wasn't even upset. I was just sitting there, and I was just sitting down while they were saying pledge, and she got mad about that. So, she can't really get mad about that. If she was mad about, you think I was mad about that AR thing, she should have sent me up when it was the AR thing. But no, she sent me up when I didn't say pledge allegiance, why I don't have to say pledge allegiance.
So that's something that, so you've never been sent up for that, so it's something that you do on a regular basis, you don't have any,
No, I
anything
say
against
pledge
that.
allegiance.
Oh, no,
I said pledge allegiance, but I just said feel like saying like so I should
I don't
get
know
in
which
trouble.
I don't know how to start it.
That's not me
Like, do I
doing
put,
anything. That says, that's in the school thing. I can look in my planner right now, it says not saying pledge allegiance,
like, do I
get you in
start
trouble,
out
get
as
you some
saying,
points. No.
What I'm saying is, you just get maybe more than that, if you were being restricted for that,
I was
could have been
being
a last straw.
disrespectful. No, like the last one. I went to the and then straw. So, because you don't have to say pledge allegiance. So I got to sit up here for some more.
people, black tag or.
What I would be thinking about right now is working on, before that, okay, decide what you may have been putting out there because of your frustration, okay, cause Ms. McMillan can't help with that, okay, just like you're sent up here, and you can talk to me and be like, man, I'm frustrated with having been sent up here, you know, I didn't send you up here, we're up here to talk about it, and talk it through, so I can send you back to class, okay, whether that's next hour, or whether that is the following period. My goal is to get you back into class. I'm aware of that, and so is Ms. McMillan, okay, so I'm saying that it may not have just been the pledge, so what I would do is be thinking about other things that went on,
I'm not even going to.
and trying to right the wrong, because I think you're focusing on the part that you don't agree with, but try to focus on the part that Ms. McMillan is upset about. I'm not saying the pledge is why you're sent up here, she's saying that you were kind of not being, you're not following directions.
I was not following the directions. She
That's what I'm
didn't give
saying.
any directions. Exact.
And that's what I'm saying, man, hey, that's
Anything. She didn't
what I'm
say
saying for you to
anything.
reflect on.
No, I'm not reflecting on nothing. 'Cause she did not say anything. So that's not my fault.
And that's just not, how can I send you back to class if you're not willing to reflect on any situation, if you believe it's her fault? You've never been sent up here during this hour with this type of reply. How's that her fault?
It's not my fault.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying, if you don't believe it's your fault, then you going back to class is probably not a good idea, because you're not gonna see, you're not seeing any, right to your wrong. Because you don't believe you're wrong.
Because what is there to be wrong about? Tell me something that I'm wrong at, and I'll listen. But for now, I see nothing.
Let's go. We should censor that.
I'm gonna, like, approach the things that we need.
That's a good way to start out. Make sure you're only using,
Cause I didn't know how to start out, like, I think that it's,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be, I think it would be like that in the year.
yeah, you wanna stick to the facts that are in this story. And stick to things that we talk about in this story. And I mean, just like the title says, sum it up. You wanna center your things more. Which I know is hard to do, start off, so you know how long it's gonna take. Like, center this, like, that should be like over there, just a little bit.
Yeah, I try to do that, like, on, like, I try to space it out
Yeah.
like where it's in the middle.
Yeah.
That's how I try to do it. But I don't do it with paper because it's harder. Cause,
It is a little more difficult, but I mean, it's something to practice.
yeah,
I don't
I
mind
try to get
practicing.
it like, you know, like right out here, so then there's like enough space.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like just like another word, like sum it up back in 19.
Yeah.
Did they go on different buses and lights, or did they go on the same?
Yeah, different buses, man.
What they want, sir?
Oh, well, no,
They
no,
want
no, I'm
same
sorry,
bus, two
same
different
bus,
sections.
different section, sorry. Same bus, different section.
Oh, okay.
And if they had a seat on the bus, then they would have to give up their
Yeah,
seats.
I didn't understand that. Like, did they have to stand?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought they just had to get off the bus. I thought
Probably in some cases, but, the big thing was,
it was a park. I got one.
she did, and, I mean, she
said
could've,
no, because he wanted her to. How you gonna tell her to get?
and okay, why don't you head downstairs to the office? I heard Miss Sam tell you a couple times, okay?
Hmm?
I heard Miss Sam tell you a couple times to stop doing things, yeah.
I
And then when she took your pencil after the third time of asking, then you slammed your books down. It's not
didn't
okay.
mean to slam my books down.
It looked like you did.
I was just going like this. I didn't know they was going for.
Okay, why don't you go into the office there, son?
Oh yeah, Rosa Parks. Didn't the bus driver tell her to go to the back of the bus because she was sitting right by the rail, like right where they get on, they can see her. She was in like the first seat.
Well, that's where they usually picture her. I'm not sure exactly where she was at on the
Like,
bus.
cause I seen pictures of her sitting there when they took pictures of her
Mhm.
for her to like get off, and she didn't.
And that may be, she may have kind of reenacted where she sat, but that may not
Yeah.
be totally, because I don't think there's anybody taking pictures during that specific time.
I don't think. Yeah, people did have phones, didn't they?
No, not cell phones.
I thought
They had cameras.
Yeah, didn't they have like?
They have like, I mean, like specific cameras. Now we got like camera phones, or we got like my iPad or stuff like that.
But
That
they had like the spin phones. No, they didn't.
no,
They didn't have
yeah, they're rotary phones.
They had like kind of like those ones, but older, didn't they?
Yeah, like
I like
you
that.
didn't have a phone on the bus.
I know.
That's pretty much it.
Oh, he has a spin phone in his hallway. It's like,
Yeah.
go down. It doesn't work every time.
No.
One,
Yeah.
one.
Well, they even had, back in the day, they had those phones that sat on the wall and you pick it up and you talk into one end and you listen to
Oh
the other.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Like,
I don't understand. it either.
talking. I want to see one of those because I used to have one. I've seen pictures of like there was this guy and he was holding one like that. And I was like, what is he doing? Like, can you just hear it coming through that where he talks and like?
Yeah.
But then he's like what?
Well, hey. Yeah. Hello? Yeah, Jane.
I got your signal.
It'd be weird if you like didn't know like which one was which, and then you pick like the one for your mouth.
Hello? Oh, what? No. Hey, real quick. All right. So today, I'm gonna let you guys continue to work on this because we haven't gotten too far into it. Some of you guys haven't. So what we're gonna do is just make sure while you're working on this, because we're gonna have other people coming in. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long do we get to work on this?
I'll give you guys just try to get it done
Do we
shortly
get a
within the
little
next
bit
hour.
more?
I'll give you guys a little more time to work on it.
No, do we get a little bit more?
Oh, yeah. What you guys wanna do though is, just make sure again that you are try and use most of these works as most of them pertain to what we read, okay, in your summaries, okay? And, yeah, you did a good job. So,
Should I
just
just
keep
space
working.
it, like space, and then like down here because I'm not gonna have enough room to put it.
Yeah,